in these present moments, through deep breathing, through expansion of the auric gold, bio, plasmatic, conducted by magnetism, dielectric field, yeah, more than one action happening at once, yeah, means that as a superior, supreme, organic, advanced, don't like the word tech, yeah, light being, beyond the definition of tech, yeah, which can be aligned with the artificial mimicked version of events, yeah. So whilst conducting that breathing on inspiration, which is inhale, is active. The muscles expand, become expansive. Yeah. Upon, yeah, so that's inspiration, inhale, in spirit aeration, yeah, strength, spirit, energy, masculine, the father, right? Yeah. So then upon exhale, we now have the passive, yeah, we become elastic, which is our mother, yeah. This is the way that we breathe. And the way that we breathe, like I say, yeah, is in alignment with and is totally based around, yeah, our plasmatic magnetism, our field, which is based around our supreme immortal state of being. Even when we breathe on a day-to-day basis in ignorance, we are in ignorance to our own supreme nature. And therefore, things have been defined for us, and we define our breathing to just be mundane, and we define the air to just be air that we breathe to survive, because we are in a state of survival. And the reason that we are in that state and that need for survival, yeah, is one of the things that we're going to discuss now. Being a metaphysician, an alchemist, which is what I do, yeah, for a long time, yeah, something called diminished, dysfunctional sensitivity, yeah, and diminished self-worth. These are actions that are in alignment with the energetic working of our field, and we're in alignment with the polarities of the field in which that we are actually actioning, yeah, like a remote control car, as a supreme being, as a child of matter, yeah, as a supreme light being of perfection. Then you have dominion over matter, yeah, as an immortal light body being, but you don't realize that, yeah, due to a set of events that had taken place prior, yeah. So what's actually happening is at the minute is that beings are deficient. We call it alkalinity, right? Beings are deficient upon of the blue flame. Yeah, you're deficient upon the you see, life and death. Now these blue flame elements, you call them alkalinity, right? You call them alkalines, right? That's what you call them. But they're not. They're superior to that, right? Now I'll tell you something. The way that it works, the body doesn't have an acid reserve, but it does have an alkaline reserve. Yeah. So if you can connect dots and you think a little bit deeply about that, yeah, you look at it and you realise that it means that these alkaline substances, yeah, in some way they are generating life, which they are, yeah. Your amino acids always do a left-hand spin. When your body dies, they do a right-hand spin, which is death, which is the death, yeah, which is the life and death, right? So in the early 1900s, that which sustains life, yeah, has been deleted, right? Yeah, by creating a fantasy of another, which I speak about a lot. By creating a dark fantasy, yeah, in order to be able to create a power differential to manipulate and control, yeah, which is the scenario that you are living in that right now, yeah. It's not nothing new. This is nothing new, yeah. It's just a sequence of events that take place based on particular causes that have been put into place. And those causes that have been put into place is if I hide away from the being, its true ways of actually progressing. It's true ways of actually manoeuvring upon this physical plane, yeah, with ease. In actual fact, if I take away the tools, the workman's tools, and then ask the workman to go and do his work, yeah, and a part of his work is to protect himself from the rain, but I take away his coat, it's gonna get wet. But if I define it to him as though that he's all, as if I define to him that there is no coat and the coat doesn't exist prior, yeah, then when he goes out to do this, he's not thinking about a coat. That if he was to put a coat on, then there would actually be no rain. So we suffer with a deficiency in light elements that reside within nature, within matter, and then they are also geared up on levels. They go up and up and up and up and up. We're only just now, other people started talking about, oh, you need to become alkaline. Right, certain parts of your body are acid and they're alkaline. People who supposedly know it. So it doesn't work, nothing like that. It doesn't work like that. This is in alignment with magnetism, and in alignment with the poles of magnetism, yeah? Magnetism is hot and cold. It's a heat, it's a fluid that runs directly through the vessel, right? And there are certain energies, energy bandings that are either aligned with accelerating life, yeah, or oxidizing it. Done. That is it. So what I'm gonna show here, right? Which I've done this one before, but there's a reason I do this. This here, right, is gonna determine the buffering system that's in here. I've done this many times before. So when I put this in here, so you see here, it will tell you this is the hardness in here, the hardness there. So what you've got nitrogen 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to go for there, which is this KH, right? When I go for that KH there, what it tells me, look, you see, if I just turn that there, I've done this before. What it tells me, you see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, how dark it is. It's telling me that there's loads of, you see that if there was, you see how it's getting lighter, that's the pH at the below. So that pH, the red one there, if it's 8.4, look, 8.4 pH. And it's telling me that that bicarb is full of bicarb. It's the highest one. If it was hardly any bicarb, it would be green. But it's really dark blue. Yeah? So that's telling me that it's got lots of bicarb in it. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah? What that means is this. Now, they've been teaching this for several years now. And the reason is because I'm ultra sensitive. It's one of the reasons why. And my soul also makes me find what is required in order to create an infinity sphere around this vessel that I'm borrowing in order to complete this mission. Right. So what that means is, what it means is that bicarb, right, can actually, it inhibits, and I'll just put it on here anyway so you can see it. In contrast, bicarbonate inhibits peroxynitrate induced strand breakages, right? And it does that in plasmid. Now, if I wanted to create DNA nanotech, which is a nucleic acid, right? If I wanted to create that, I'm in alignment with a plasmid, right? With some form of acidity. Yeah. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I work with acidity, because I've been promoting, and I've been continually pushing, yeah, this part of the field here, yeah, that's what I've been pushing, because this part of the field here, it increases. It's what you call death is an illusion. It doesn't exist. But what it's doing is it's diminishing, yeah, life and having it recycled, yeah. And by doing that, and because everything works not how we think it works, it's all interconnected and layered, Yeah. So what that means is, if there are human beings upon this particular plane, and they are right, using their intent to progress and forward life, yeah, then they are starting to manifest a new reality. Yeah. That's what's happening. Yeah. And they are, and what that means is they're not just starting to manifest a new reality, they're in alignment with the workings of their surroundings, which has been hidden from you, which part of the surroundings is acceleration of life. So that means that people will start accelerating in life. And what does that also mean? It means that we are also accelerating in energy. What does that also mean? It also means that we are accelerating in intelligence. And it also means that we're accelerating in physical capability. And it also means that we're accelerating in spiritual capabilities. This is what's happening. Yeah. So when I take this high end, yeah, alkaline substance. Now, your enzymes required for most of the biological processes in your body, they require that you operate at a pH 8. Why is it? An individual, one of the worst things that could happen here, yeah, is to let human beings, any being, walk upon a surface here to embark upon action in day-to-day activities in life in ignorance. Worst thing ever. Worst thing ever. Because you're walking around making up your own version of reality, which is rubbish, bullshit. It doesn't exist. And because of that, then you have been given a set of beliefs based upon this death here, yeah. And because they cannot understand the metaphysical workings surrounding them, and they don't understand any science at all, yeah, it now means that they put themselves, yeah, they press the button on the control pad, and you put yourself in a flushing scenario, in a pulling scenario. We align ourselves in a part of magnetism, a part of our field, yeah, which continually creates death, yeah, and it means that we want to rely in imperfection. So ignorance, selfishness, and fear. This then makes us go to look at others, yeah, because it's a weakness, it's a lack of energy, yeah. It makes us then want to go and take that energy off others by controlling them and making them think the way that we think, the way that we are thinking, because we are suffering and we want to pull others down with us when we do that. That's the way that it works. So they created something called ecstasy. I have ecstasy happening right now, beaming straight out of me, yeah. But there is going to be no negative consequence for the action, because I am not operating. I'm not operating within this red pole of magnetism here. I'm not operating in that pole, because when I operate in that pole, all of the substances that I use, they will initially lift me up, and then they will then push me back down, because this is how metaphysics, the true nature of reality works. Yeah, that is how it works. So it's going to be pulling you down. So they created ecstasy, and you get young people. It's very clever. This is the definition. So the artificial construct, we created this ecstasy drug that was taken by these young people, and they did it in the 70s as well. These are all psyops as well, yeah, psyops by these dark masons. What they do, yeah, and then they create these scenarios, yeah, such as this, to feed in to your highest state and tune into it, yeah, because people want that. You want to know that, but they tune into it in order to profit out of it, yeah, and that is what happens. It brings death to the vendor, yeah. When the soul, we treat the soul as a commodity, as a commerce, as a mercantile commodity, right? What happens is it then brings forth death to the vendor. That's the way that it works. It brings death to the vendor, right? So most things have been actually hidden. Now before, because I'll forget. So and it's all in alignment with energy, right? So that what we was just speaking about there, yeah. Bicarb will stop DNA breakages. DNA breakages are going to come from extremely low electromagnetic fields, And listen, these DNA breakages, see, because I'm an ultra sensitive, that's why I'm like this. So about 7 years ago, I can't put a mobile phone nowhere near my head because it sends acoustic frequencies straight through my head, straight through, yeah. Because sound and harmonics is in alignment with a transverse wave effect. That's how it works. That's why you get zzz in your ears. So if their cleaning products that they created, which was another site that's deliberately created because he created phobias based on your dysfunctional sensitivity. Dysfunctional sensitivity comes when the field is diminished, it's weak like this because you're stuck into the red, you're getting oxidized. Yeah. So many years ago, I could show you videos now. Me and my partner, we looked, because I'm always doing this. So you know, you have cigarette adverts in the 50s, right? It was no difference. They did it. The occult, as an occultist, I know how this works. With the Betty Crocker, this cake, nobody would buy this cake, this Betty Crocker cake, until they took an egg, because they understand. You see, the true the nature of events, nature of reality here. Yeah. We are connected to it very deeply because there is only now, right? And as a supreme being, you are connected much deeper than we know. To this realm, we are tethered to it. So what they did is, as the occultists, they knew, these dark occultists, what they did is they took an egg. Now, all the people out there who listen to this, if you are in ignorance, listen to what I say, and then go and look at it for yourself, and then you will see it for yourself. And it is only your own fears that are stopping you from accepting the truth that is going to save you. Yeah? And then they take this egg here, right? And then what they did is they put an egg on the packet because none of the women would buy this ready mix cake. They wouldn't buy it at that stage because their self-worth and their dysfunctional sensitivity wasn't as diminished. Why is that? Because they were having to do things, take responsibility. You see, we have to take responsibility because you see at the bottom of this field here is diligence, which means work. You have to put work in to raise these energies upwards, and that's why now they've taken that away. So even when you write something, they're trying to spell it for you so that you cannot do things for yourself, right? So they took this egg. What they did is because the women wouldn't buy this pre-made cake mix because it's too easy. They want to make it themselves, right? So they put an egg on the packet. When they put the egg on the packet, because of fertility, the subconscious mind aligned with it, and then they made billions of pounds. So then what happened is, loads of people bought into it then, and they buy into this egg. They buy into the better crocker thing with the cakes. They do the same with cleaning. There's a company called Flush, you probably see it. It's run by occultists. They use a checkerboard floor. They've been doing it ever since he was a baby, right? And what they do is they show loads of dirt on the floor, and they go, and then they clean it. But they align this with the feminine, because they attack the feminine, because she was the one who could from pure perfection out of Adam and Eve, because she was the one who can conceive. Yeah, she didn't sin. This is how it was. The man, he knew that he was sinning. The woman, she didn't know she was sinning. She was sinning in ignorance, in innocence. Right. So they attack because attack the woman because this is the head of the home. Yeah, and this is how it all works. It's all inside of the home. Really, it's all about nature. Yeah, it's all about the home, which is the fourth house, which is where the light comes in, which is where we're heading to now, which is the peak of life, right? So then what happens is that they would use these adverts, these cleaning products all the time, telling you that everything's dirty. You need to keep it clean, and that's you see, and now that has created phobias. Yeah, about dirt, viruses, bacteria, and all this sort of stuff. When really, we know, we know. That's how the immune system, I learned that years ago, the immune system obviously needs to have certain, dirt, etc. It's got to come in there so we can build defense against all these different bits and pieces. Standard stuff, standard. But when fear comes, different kettle of fish. Not just fear, socially engineered programming by enlightened beings that are working on the dark side, right? Yeah, so that's why we have to do this. So then what happens is, when you create these television advertisements all about cleaning products all the time, if you look into it, you'll see it's just one or two companies like P&G. P&G is 77, yeah? Perfection. Cleanliness. Do you see? The 7 is cleanliness, right? And it's perfection, right? The 7 is also there, it's in your zygote cell. This cell is you when you come here. That is you. That is when you were before you were born. You were a zygote cell. A zygote cell is this magnetic field here. See? Yeah? and it resides in a figure of 8. It's in the shape of a figure of 8. Yeah, and if this is the 7, which is 7 is life, right? Yeah, and the 8, yeah, is infinity, which we're going to look at today. And she is infinite, right? And that's what we're going to look at. So this is why pH, which you need in your brain, yeah, which you need in your brain, and which is what they've been hiding from you to create these deficiencies, you know, this is, you can't breathe and all this sort of stuff, yeah, is infinite light, which is pH. And that's what I've just been talking about. So that's bringing that full circle, yeah? And that's why, so you have here this actual zygote cell within is exactly the same as the field that we reside within, and the field that manifests our physical state, yeah, at the same time too. And it is the field that is immortal. It's the field that will live on forever, yeah, where it is. Electricity kills viruses. In a remarkable study at Albert Einstein College, blah, 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 in 1990, yeah, in New York 1990, it was shown that a minute current of 50 to 100 microamperes can alter outer protein layers of a HIV virus in a petri dish, because a HIV virus was discovered by a gentleman, yeah, who also found that water has strong electromagnetic currents within it, water, yeah. And we use water. You see, we're using waters. I can use waters now to accelerate the self into superior planes, even though I'm still here. Yeah, but I'm accessing emotional states from the immortal states, immortal planes. Right. And they're almost undescribable by word. Now, nobody can't say anything about that because that's a fact. This is a fact, right? In a remarkable study at Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York City in 1990, it was shown that a minute current of 50 to 100 amperes can alter the outer protein layers of a virus HIV in a petri dish as to prevent its subsequent attachment to receptors. Yeah, right. That's how that works, right? Also, on the cell, right, on the surface of the cell, right, you've got it's like a 70 millivolt, 70 again, 7, yeah, millivolt charge, yeah, running directly across the surface of the cell, yeah. Today, what we're going to look at is this. What I've just been speaking about is how dark occultists, sorcerers, I'd rather use that word, how sorcerers, etc., manipulate your reality in order to have you put into a fantasy version of events, and then what they will also then do is play the true version of events to you in the background, you know, because you see the spirit can't lie, so they will give you truth constantly. Yeah, do you know how long a lot of people talk about films and stuff. So yeah, I have as well broke down many films. Many stuff, because they're always putting it out to you because they have to tell you exactly what's what. In a way they do, but to tell you something, there's one massive thing that is being hidden right now. And it's nothing to do with all of this 5Gs and so on and so forth. And that into conspiracies, I'm only into true natural science. Yeah. I mean, the wave that you're talking about when you're talking about like 5G millimeter, it runs off a scale, yeah. You make it like that. But it's a scale, so it goes up to 100 hertz. It doesn't have to be like that. There's a there's like a little fancy box, like a 1 gig Wi-Fi box that you have to bring that in, etc. and so on and so forth. But it's not necessarily, but it runs on a scale, yeah, up and down on a scale, and then you can alter it to set a particular frequency to operate a particular thing, because it's not just one thing. It's operating multiple different. The 5G has many applications, right? So going back to what I was saying, right? Before film, yeah, the fantasy by his story, yeah, and the black magician trick that is working in people's minds, yeah, has been running for a very long time. And here it is. Also, see these? So if I show here these cards, yeah, look at that. If you've been following what I do here, my work, and some bits and pieces elsewhere as well, you'll see these straight away and think, look at that. Cherubim, seraphim. These we're on God's throne, surrounding it. Who is God? What is God? Red and blue. Yeah? Red and blue. There. Yeah? Master number 11. This is called the Little Book. Out of these cards, many people have lost their lives and all types of pain and suffering because of alignment with money. But inside of the cards, what they would have not known, which is what this presentation is, there is a sphere of infinity, and this is the Wheel of Fortune. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down, yeah, the Wheel of Fortune and the sphere of infinity, and the love story of your life hidden within these cards. The love story and the pain and the suffering and the trauma is all hidden within these cards, and they are master number 11. Yeah. Shakespeare. The word Shakespeare. William Shakespeare. Yeah, written all this stuff. No, we didn't. His name is Shakespeare. Everything has been occulted and hidden from you. I did a video before. I showed you what KJV means, King James Version of the Bible. Yeah, this is the King. Yeah, this is the King. Yeah, and this is the version V. Yeah, and in the 7 you got the 7, right? And it was created by a gentleman called Francis Bacon, who made up the name Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Shakespeare comes from the goddess Athena, who's connected to wisdom. Yeah, because he shake a sphere in ignorance, to cast away ignorance, hundreds of years ago. And that's why the Shakespeare written all these lovely poems. The moon, it's talking about the way that the planets work and everything. He says the moon, it starts the baby, it's puking and so forth. And then he tells beautiful stories about the occult story about, astrologically, about the planets. But that's Francis Bacon, because he wanted to be the king, but he wasn't able to do that. So what he did is he manipulated your language instead. Yeah, which is now what I do is break open the light that's hidden in that language by that particular occultist. And it was other occultists that put this together, and whilst they did it, they also built the United States off of these cards here at the same time as well. And they did it through master number 11. And tomorrow is master number 11 day. So what happens is there's going to be a new set of rules action tomorrow on master number 11 day. And all of this started, yeah, on master number 22 day, March, master number 22, and it was for a 40-day period. So from someone like my perspective, I knew that this would be, they would start to maneuver it and alter it, yeah, at the end of that sacrifice season, yeah, and that's the way that it works. And then the next one, they would come up, try and do it in October, because that's in alignment with this field like that. You see, like that. That's how they work. So it's coming like that, boom, boom, right. So, and then so on the 1st of May, yeah, what we had was the fire festival. It's a fire festival, yeah. And the reason is because we see when we're in March, which you're going to look at, you see March, you see it's fertility, because what's happening is there's a massive sexual interaction that actually takes place, yeah, between the Earth and the Sun, which is what brings about the scenario that we live in now. And what those two do is they create a 4. They create an initial 4, yeah. And then when they create that initial 4, that brings forth the soul, which is yourself, to come through. And what actually happens is at the 1st of March, the Earth is directly opposite the Sun, because the Earth is in Virgo over here like this, yeah. And then the Sun is there in Pisces. The Sun is a little bit in Pisces, just in coming into Aries, and it's 10 degrees in Libra. 10 degrees in Libra on the other side, and in Virgo the Earth is, yeah. And then this is where you have your heliocentric versus your geocentric. That's how in masonry, that's how they look at it, yeah. And that's how you have this you have this scenario where you get these people going, well, it's this. I'm heliocentric and geocentric, geocentrism. But it's geocentric, yeah, geocentric, yeah, because of the mother womb. That is it. It's pretty standard. It's pretty standard stuff. Now, then what I'm going to do is this. I'm always going on about this 4, right? So this here, to me, is really vital and key. So what I want to do is just read it up until the points where I need the bits that I want people to hear, right? So we'll say, at the moment, right, I'm using Hopi cosmology here now. Now these are the people who know the real truth of our existence, because they still have their culture over thousands of years. They can tell you about the scenario you are living in now. What they will say: the white man turns up and he comes with a limited piece of time, and he comes in this with this positive red magnetism, following the red dragon, which is through ignorance, selfishness, and greed. Yeah, and wants to trample on the mother, which is the feminine, which is the life giver. Yeah, right. Now I'm going to show now. Tell a little story here. It's not even a story. This is a fact. And because of the Hopi, you'll hear me talking about 4s and 9s and all sorts. And today, all some of the people think, what's this guy talking about? These numbers. You're going to realise. I'm going to show you exactly what this means. Yeah. I'll do it now. Explain it to you. Right. So we'll read this. This is from the Hopi cosmology. Now this, where you live, is the fourth version of events, and there are 3 to go. Yeah. So, like I said to you, what you think is, oh, the people are locking us down and they're doing all this with 5Gs, blah, 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 blah. No, this is all distractions. I'm sorry to let you know this. These are distractions. I'm not getting involved in tit-for-tats about, oh, this, can you catch this, or can you catch that, or can you do this, can you do that, da, 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 da. If you follow the work that I'm telling you to do, you'll expand your shield of divinity. And that's the way that it will. That's the way that it will be. And then you will be made to. And you will have to exit. You will be made to exit this to head back towards lighter planes of perfection that reside more towards the centre of a pole. Right. And I'll read that to you now. real stuff. Right. The complexity and richness of Hopi beliefs form volumes of information that is not only far beyond the scope of this essay, but much of it is not public information, right? Yeah. So this essay will attempt to give a small sampling of Hopi beliefs and life, right? We don't like that word. We don't like that word beliefs, because there is no actual beliefs. There is only one straight set of knowing that is engraved within nature, and the reason that is engraved within nature like that, and they will put it in these cards, and then you will see when you go to look at these people look at their government tomorrow or whatever, they will see these two fighting each other. There is no denying what I tell you. There's no denying what we talk about. No denying the truth. Right. So I continue. Right. The Hopi believe that the first world was endless space, and the creator Tewo, the creator, first created his nephew Satugnang, and it gave him the job of harmoniously forming the universes. Now remember, you have been made to believe that indigenous tribes and so on and so forth are just stupid people walking around with no clothes on. But in actual fact, they have metaphysical connection to the plant world, right? And beyond. So let's continue. The creator first created his nephew Satugang, yeah, and gave him the job of harmoniously forming the universes. Satugnang in forming the universes, right? Satugnang in turn created Kokugnang Wuti, right? Spider Woman. Yeah, I can show you others. It's like in other African cosmology, they have Anansi the spider, right? It's a center. You will always find a center point, and it will come outwards like this. Always find there's a center point, yeah, where all life is emerging from, and it expands outwards like this. And they hide this in stories, right? And Nancy the spider, right? Now, Spider Woman, yeah. What do you think of straight away? Oh, Spider Woman in a suit with an emblem. They have emblems, don't they, on their heart? They always have emblems on their heart, right? Yeah, because that's you are. You're a supernatural being, right? And that's what I teach, right? So so let's continue, right? So, the universe was first created in that way. Then Satagang in turn created Kakawuti, Spider Woman, whom he charged with the job of helping create life on Earth. Spider Woman, yeah? Yeah? The Great Mother, yeah? Mama Kali, Aurora, the Queen of the Sea, yeah? Right? Creating life on Earth. Giving the web of life knowledge. What I always see, this is, I call this the womb web of creation. Yeah? You are using a web. Remember, they call the internet a web. They start calling it a web now, but it was a web. www dot. Yeah? www dot. Yeah? Which is what you do. So when you put that www dot in there, because it's a wave. Yeah? A web. Yeah? That's how that is playing out. And then that's going to give us what? 555, right? Yeah? Which will equate back to sex. Yeah? Why will it equate back to sex? Because the woman chromosome is XX, which is sex, right? Which is 66, which is the realm in which we live in, which is the 12 angles of light. It's encased inside of a field. We occupy one of them. We are in one of those months now. There is one that is hidden. We'll speak about that. Anyway, so it says, Spider Woman, whom he charged with the job of helping create life on Earth, giving the web of life knowledge, wisdom, and love. Sophia, remember, means wisdom, yeah, and love. She gives you her love, yeah. In actual fact, the game has changed. The game has changed, right? Because the plasma fields that emanate directly from the center north pole, right? Yeah, they come from her as she swells like that, yeah. And what she does, she has always pointed like this, yeah, to the North Pole like that, yeah, for another 13,000 years, and then she'll go to Vega, yeah, and before that it was Draconis, right, Draco previously, and then she's going to go back again to Pole Aries, yeah, Pole Aries, yeah, and that's in alignment with the North Pole. It's the brightest star in the actual sky. It is an eye, a single eye of light looking down upon us, and then also this is the portal. These are portals at that light center in order for us to leave towards lighter planes. Yeah, right. These indigenous people used to go on. They go on like adventures back to the north, back home, right? And that's where some other tribes, like I've spoken about before. You got the Pygmies, Andamans, who live. These Andaman tribes live out in a place where they shouldn't even be. In India, they shouldn't be there, but they've arrived there because that's where they've come from. So people with heritage like myself, yeah, I am not African. No, I don't come from Africa because it's a theory. It's an actual theory. In actual fact, we lost a war. We lost a war in the Americas, so that's where our indigenous lands from. We don't come from Africa. We come from a center point, from a north point. And then what that does, that creates more power differential, because it makes other groups of people then believe that that we all come from a monkey, and an evolution. This is evil, and it makes other human beings think they're above other human beings because they came in at a later stage. It doesn't work like that. We all come from one center point as different tribes. Yeah, that's the way it works, and that explains quite a lot of some of the things that we see happening in places such as in America, right? So let me just continue where we're at. Let's talk about Spider Woman. So Spider Woman, who he charged with the job of helping create life on Earth, giving the web of life knowledge, wisdom, and love. Yeah, what happened to that, right? Spider Woman then created the twins, Pakukoya and Pakukoswaya, yeah, whose job it was to solidify the Earth and bring it into balance. Key. Bring it into balance. Bring it into balance. Bring it into balance, yeah? We have to have this death scenario. It's alignment with strength. Yeah, we have to have that, right? It's a natural part of our being, but it is to be incorporated. It's to be incorporated. The density is to be incorporated with the light. You see, this is the anchoring point. Yeah, so we can get that work done. So they had to create balance. Must always be in order for balance. Once balance is in place, then there is a new energy that is emerged from magnetism, centering energy, perfecting energy. Right. The twins, because you see they're twins. They're twins. Look, they're twins. The twins were then stationed at Earth's two poles to ensure this stability at Earth's two poles. This is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, by the way. Spider-Woman then began creating all the plants and animal life from forms on Earth. Yeah, right? Giving each a name. Yeah. She molded each out of the earth. Yeah. See that bit there? Spider-Woman then began creating all the plants and animal life forms on Earth. See plants. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So we know now. You see, when you look at we know all things is coming from supreme divinity. We know, which we know anyway. Yeah. But it's creating. You see the plants, and then in the Genesis, it will tell you see the plants is here before the stars, right? And then the interrelationship between a star and a plant is phenomenal because the star feeds the plant directly, and you are in alignment with the plant, and the star is feeding us, and that is what I was going to talk about when I was talking about love, because we have entered a new state, a new stage, yeah, which I'm going to speak about in a moment. Also, which is in alignment with the plasma, because that access new state being. So I'm going to explain it, speak about that, right? So Spider-Woman, when they stationed at the Earth's two poles to ensure this stability, right? Spider-Woman then began creating all the plants and animal life forms, right? Giving each a name. She molded each out of the earth. She covered them with her white cape. Now, before this 7-ray light that we use, yeah, that we are occupying now, is a white light. And that white light is always associated with our mother. And she is also associated with the blue life giver, the blue flame, which provides pure life. So really, it's our perception of reality, yeah, which is playing a factor in what is actually happening, yeah. It's how we are perceiving the reality from the perspective of diminished self-worth. Right, which is diminished self-worth, which is why people you buy food knowing it's no good, right? You're being overcharged. You go, it's a hard life this, but you get your head down and get on with it. That's diminished self-worth. Yeah, when you know your worth and your field is expanding, right? Also, you are not needing anything, requiring anything, and you are knowing your worth, and therefore you cannot be manipulated so easily. So the reason I'm explaining these things is because some people think, I can just go out and tell loads of people to wake up and they're going to just do it. No, they're not going to do it, because I'm sorry to tell you this, but they are residing in the red DE and they're a demon. Yeah? A demon is a definition. It's a word. The definition comes to your head. If I say devil, what comes up? Devil with horns and a red tail. Yeah? It's all a figment of the fantasy of another, because he's trying to get you to look outside for the devil and the demon when it resides within you, so that you don't ever do anything about it, so you can keep profiting on your demise. Right? So, she moulded each out of the earth, covering them with her white cape, because she is the white light that begins all things. It's a pure white light. She sang over them and gave them life. When you singing, you see, we're singing like this. It's plasma. You're creating plasma, creating love. This is what we mean by singing, right? The creator and field perturbations, right? So the creator and his nephew, both very pleased with the quality of her work. Yeah. So the gods above that were pleased with the quality of her work, creating the earth which we are on now, right? The creator then ordered Spider-Woman to create human beings, right? Now listen to this. This time she gathered each of four different colours. Yellow, red, white and black, right? yellow, red, white, and black. Right. The white and the black are the two main creating colours. Yeah, and then so those are the two. So when you do martial arts, you enter as white and you exit as black. Right, all knowing the black. Right. So red, white. So she molded a figure of each using the unique. She molded a figure of each using the liquid of her mouth to form them. Waters she's using. She covered them with the white substance of her cape. Remember, I said the white light is a supreme, superior light. Resides outside of the physical plane, which manifests physicality out of pure perfection. And when we leave here, we'll leave in that white light. I have an ability that enables beings to come through myself. Yeah, and they use it as a portal because they get trapped in limbo. See, they get trapped in limbo, and what it is they want to be able to use. They use a light when you access astral, when you switch yourself on, and you can be seen. Yeah, and what happens is the first time this happened to me was about 5 years ago. And what happens is there are certain souls that get trapped. They get trapped here, and they use my energy, my light, my force, my energy as a guiding light in order to use that. To try and gain power to actually exit the limbo that they're in. Yeah, and when this came about, I did another video with somebody the other day. Beautiful soul, I'm getting this right. And what actually happened is when the frequencies started increasing here, yeah, and they started this lockdown thing. That's why they do it, because when the reason that this sacrifice season started, this occult sacrifice killing season started on the 22nd of March, is because fertility comes at that period, and we have an expression of increased field perturbation. And what's happened is, because of what we're in now, because of what's happening here, we have experienced a massive increase in field strength, aurora field strength, coming from the centre, because that's what nature is doing. So, listen, you're living in my home. Imagine you're living in somebody's house. I've said this many times. Yeah, and you're telling me you don't like them, you don't know them, you don't have nothing to do with them. You tell me to fuck up. I ain't got nothing to do with your divinity. I'm not going to work on myself. I am not going to look at my internal state and look to release the trauma and look to become a builder of the self. And in alignment with that, I'm not looking to recognise the creating mother and father forces in the home that I reside in. If you do that and you say F off to that which is sustaining your life, then damn right, then it will make sure that you become diminished, and then what happens is then you will be restarted again. And you know what? That's what I'm reading to you right now, and that is the situation that is really taking place. And all these little distractions that you see now are all designed to keep people locked down, locked in those, because out of fear, because they don't want. Yeah, we want it to happen because some people believe that they will go elsewhere, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and that's how that's what's really going on, right? Because of an event that's going to take place that I'll be watching for a long while now. It is happening. Sunny yesterday, it's raining today. Same last year. Soon there'll be floods. Soon the weather will start again, and people go, "Oh, I'm going to meet. Well, I remember that. Remember that weather? Do you remember that weather that keeps changing constantly? Yeah, we can't remember it now because we're thinking about something else in our crown, in our corona crown, thinking about something else. Yeah, because it's been put there, because it's all been programmed and planned there, just like they did in 9/11, which was an event that I watched as a 19-year-old. So that fear sort of program, the world changing, ending, everything's happening, that happened to me then, because I was awake at 19. I was awake at 19, I was awoken up at 18, and then that event took place at 19, and that was traumatizing for myself. I thought at that particular point that it was that what I discovered with this Anunnaki reptilian Lucifer agenda and all the rest of it, so on and so forth, all of that stuff, I assumed that bit, that I'd been not only 19 and knowing these things, that what you're living in now, what I thought it may happen then. So that's trained me for this, so I'm used to it anyway. It's already used to it. So back to where we are, which is what I'm going to say here. She then created 4 more creatures. Yeah, because what happened was, this is how we came here from these four universal elements here. Now, this is thousands and thousands of years ago, but you'll see me speaking about it and talking about it through all that as a timeline. Yeah, I can come thousands and thousands of years before this, which we're going to do today. Hidden within occultism, you're going to find it, and you're going to find it put out in nature, and you're going to keep them. You're going to keep seeing them. Because at the minute you're in the middle of a black magic sorcery spell, so you're going to keep seeing them, flinging these what you define as numbers, right? Okay. She molded a figure of each using the liquid of her mouth to form them. Yeah. She covered them with the white substance of her cape, which was the essence of wisdom. Wisdom is pure light, creating light. It creates infinity, yeah, through wisdom, yeah, and it's wisdom that is lacking. And they were created in the image of Sat Ugnan, right? So you've been created in the image of of a divine being, which we know, yeah. So this is why you are able, because within you is a fragment of a perfection within you, which is trying to, yeah, recover your physical body from your lower nature. Yeah, you are supreme. There's a supreme fragment within you that is trying to guide and govern you like a remote control pad. So what's happening is the sorcerer instead has got you dancing around like this and puppets on the string. Why is that? Because we don't understand how to control the inner workings of the body and how to align that with, yeah, our metaphysical nature. So because our body is playing instruments, there's a song playing in our body right now, and because we are in ignorance to it, we don't have wisdom, then it's just playing all over there. So it's playing all over the place, rambling on, mumbling on. Yeah, all sorts is coming out, and you're affecting ourselves in a negative fashion. Yeah, that's the way that it works. So then you're putting things in, yeah, that create riot, noise, and then what happens then is the magnetism that you're aligned with means that you got like vision on. So now, because you're aligned with that magnetism, you can only now see things that are aligned with that same, the same magnetism, the same red pole. So now you're only looking for that. You're out here looking for that same red pole stuff. With that stuff is killing you, and you're looking for it like this. That's what's happening to them. Yeah, and they are looking for the liberation and salvation out of that which is looking to oxidize. Yeah, because of a lack of wisdom, and that's what is being said here. She then created 4 more creatures. So now you've got 4 more now. That's 8, right? She then created 4 more creatures in her own image to be the female partners for the 4 men. When she covered them, it was in the time of the dark purple light. I finish it there. I rest my case. Yeah, she covered them, right, in the dark purple light. We know that the Phoenicians, the royalty, they use the purple, yeah, because purple is supreme royalty, and it is the purple, yeah, which is in your corona crown, because this is the purple, which is these are the cold plasmas, which these are the bridge to planes of superior planes of a more advanced perfection, translucent planes. When those purple energies come in here, then they arrive in here, they are cold, and when we meet them, we reside about 3 tiers below them. So it's like a big, massive, immortal giant that lives for 1,000 years coming up to you, that's lived for 1,000 years, that can heal you just by touching you. That's what the purple light is, yeah. But that purple light, yeah, also due to the magnetism, the magnetics of this realm, the dielectric workings of the place, yeah, is that purple light also surrounds the physical plane where we are here right now, and it is super charged. And I know this, and I tell you how I know this. I know this because what I've discovered now, yeah, is that using, you see, I would say, you see, the true wealth, our true wealth is in alignment with energy currency, as I always say, right? That is our true wealth, right? So these 4 here you see, they get created. What happens is, when the sun and the earth come together, a 4 gets created. Yeah, a 4 gets created, and that's carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And then those 4, but they're the fields of them. Yeah, those fields then give form and birth to life that is within you. That's why your body is split down the middle. Its bottom half is mostly carbon, then the top half is mostly oxygen. Yeah, only a little bit of hydrogen. Yeah, and then nitrogen. Yeah, those are the key 4. Yeah, and then you've got your 4 elements. So you've got 8. Yeah, which is giving you infinity loop. Right, that's the way that it works. But then we have metals, which are also transmutable. You see, this is why wealth within nature is natural. It's a natural occurrence, right? So now what we've been using is gold. You see, you obviously, so when you were moving upwards, gold atomic weight 196, yeah, copper 63, yeah, iron's 56. So it keeps going up. We're gonna see. We know with the 5s and 6s. See, 5s and 6s is iron, which is in your blood. You see, the main part of our hemoglobin is with us is the iron. The only difference between us and the plant is magnesium. But us is the iron, which is connected to fire, which is connected to animal heat, which is connected to magnetism. Because the 5s and the 6s, which is the iron, which is the 4 elements and the ether and the sex, which is the interplay which brings you here, which is the 5s and 6s, which is residing within your blood. So it already tells you that there. This is what I've just broken down for us. Yeah. So when we align a fire into our blood, then what happens is we are now releasing the magnetism, and the magnetism is perfection. It's the fluid that the Druids used to use in order to create magic or rituals to manifest whatever they want to happen. And you can do that just with a magnetic gaze. But first of all, the mind has to be unlocked, and you have to be out of the positive natural magnetism, which is trying to pull you down, so you cannot see that light which accelerates and allows one to be able to produce what you would call magic, which is really just being able to really operate with your higher senses in order to be able to through that more applications become available through that, such as telepathy, clairvoyance, audio, and so on and so forth. They now become available to one. So the more sensitive you get, the more your magnetism increases, which is why I'm able to just, you can do this. And it's not, I'll tell you something. Some of the things that I'm able to do, they're not good. It's not that they're good. Oh, they're really good. They are good, but we're in a dual realm. So if you walk into a room of people, and because you really said, like right now, the heart is just always like this, but the plasma's taken to a new level. If you walk to a room of people, right, and you think, oh, it'd be great to know, to be able to read people's minds. It ain't that clever. It ain't that clever. Not in this place. I go into rooms of people, and I know that they don't like me straight away, and all that sort of stuff. Or I know that they're sending it like me, really they don't. Because it's the fakery, the falsity that they reside in, and all that kind of thing, yeah. Or it just in general, and that's how it is, yeah. My partner, who I love, might think something negative of me. I can read that or whatever, or I read things in people. I see it in them. They're saying something different. The way that energy works, because energy never lies. It's always that they're saying something different to, in fact, what is really happening under the surface. So it's not, enlightenment is not always, oh great, it's fantastic, rare, lots of crying, lots of tears, because you realise that you're surrounded by demons. Simple, yeah.